It's The List and your boy with Jimmy Van and Sean Ross Sapp.
All right, we are live.
What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp, managing editor of Fightful.com and FightfulWrestling.com. The List and your boy wrestling podcast, number 62. Jimmy, are you ready to feel the Zoom?
It's so interesting you mentioned that, because that's on my list this week, and you want to know what's ironic, Sean? I don't know if I can zoom in on my list here. I actually put Feel the Zoom on this thing. I actually wrote Feel the Zoom.
Yeah, I know. It's in the title of our show, Jimmy.
Oh, I didn't know.
I take the topics of the show from the tweet that you put out in early afternoon every Wednesday.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know.
You don't give them to me beforehand.
No, I don't. That's part of the fun.
Via a tweet like the rest of the world.
Yes, you do, and that's how it should be.
Okay.
That's how it should be. It's kind of like when Jim Ross would say, I didn't like being in the production meetings because I wanted to see what happened and react to it organically. It's the same exact type of thing, man. That's how I look at it.
Yeah?
The first thing I want to put on the screen, so as I've been saying for our YouTube video watchers, I'm starting to do more multimedia now, starting to show you more images and more video. Our iTunes folks will miss out on that, but whatever. The YouTube video people get that. This first image that I'm going to put on the screen, Sean, I know that you see this on a tape delay, so you're going to have to check out the tape delay because this first image is for you.
I have it right over here to my left.
All right, it's for you. I acquired something for my cat.
Oh.
And I just got it yesterday, so I haven't hooked it up yet. I did it for many reasons, and I thought of you the whole time. From the time I heard about this thing, to the time I ordered it, to the time it arrived, I thought of Sean Ross Sapp.
I'm ready.
Put it on the screen, Nigel. This is called the Litter Robot 3. This thing is some kind of a futuristic little space pod called the Litter Robot 3. And the reason I got it for my cat is because, long story, moving into a new house, the space I picked for his litter is smaller than the space he has now. And this thing, apparently, you don't have to scoop it every day. It's going to fit perfectly to what I need. It was not cheap, Sean. This thing is $500.
Yeah, I'm aware.
$500 US, man. $500 US.
Yeah, so we've looked into getting things like that, like the automatic litters and stuff like that. But the thing is, the ones that rake the stuff, they do it so soon that the cat shit hasn't dried, and it just makes a bigger mess.
So this one, you can pick the time.
Oh!
You can either pick 7 minutes or 15 minutes, which should be enough time. And it doesn't rake it, Sean. The whole bowl does a 360-degree turn, slow turn. And then at the bottom of the bowl is a hole, so when the thing turns, the poop rolls into the hole. That's how it works, Sean. Yeah. The Litter Robot.
Christmas bonus, please.
Yeah. And
my God.
Unlike the open ones that you rake, because this one is contained, if the cat kicks litter up, most of it's going to stay in the bowl, unlike the open ones. I did my research, man.
Well, see, like, I've looked into getting things like that, but the deal is it costs so much that, I don't need to do research on it. Like,
agreed, and I saw the price tag, and I thought that's a lot of money, and then I thought about the fact that I don't have to scoop it every day.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, you don't even have to do this thing weekly. Like, you can do it once a month if you want, as long as there's enough litter in it. And I was like, boy, that's worth $500 US, so I ordered it.
It's like I didn't know what crown molding was before I did this show because I can't afford that either.
As soon as I set this up, so I'm going away Friday morning. I'm back Monday night. As soon as I'm back, I'm going to set this thing up, and I'm going to take a little video, and we're going to put it on next week's podcast, Sean.
My God. Kyler, our social media guy, goes, they said that this was a wrestling podcast.
Yeah. Well, all right, we'll shift back to wrestling. Let's put up the next image that I have. This is the shirt, Nigel.
Okay, sure.
So, Sean, who came up with this? It was you or me. One of us came up with this.
What,
okay.
the shirt idea?
Yeah, the shirt idea.
That's my idea.
Okay. So we were talking about how they're making everybody point to the WrestleMania sign, and poor John Cena pins AJ Styles. Guy rolls over, still on the mat, looks up at the WrestleMania sign. And so we came out with a shirt. It's on the screen for our video viewers. Basically says, point at the fucking sign. And I'm not gonna suggest where the image came from or what the image looks like, but
yes.
That's a new shirt that we have, Pro Wrestling Tees, if anybody wants to check it out. We've already got a few orders, and we just put the thing up. So
yeah, I'm excited. I like the design. our team did a great job. I like the gray too.
Yeah, it looks good.
Because I think we need the regular Fightful in gray up there too. I think that looks pretty good. But also shout out to Adam Pearson for another donation on the super chat. Thumbs up.
Because of the Litter Robot 3?
Yeah, somebody said this has turned into a cat shit podcast. It's always been a cat shit podcast.
Oh, and it always will be. So you just got to deal with it.
That's the way we go.
The last image I want to put up. This is a flash from the blast from the past. Put up the book image.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So this is something from a previous life. I wrote this in 2005. It's a book called Wrestling's Underbelly, From Bingo Halls to Shopping Malls. Sold about 2,000 copies back then. That's when I had my old wrestling site, jimmyvan.com. Sean and I are working on a project. We're going to tell you guys the details of it soon. That project is going to partly involve ebook versions of my old book. And so I was going through my archives, found the cover, thought we'd put it up on the thing for people to see. It has been years since I've taken a look at this thing. But, yeah, there you go, man. I just felt like sharing that.
I do have a PDF copy. I'm very excited to get to check it out and get to read it.
I'm actually going to tell you a story. So I'm going to tell you a story.
Go ahead.
I called Hacksaw Jim Duggan. So our iTunes listeners can't see the book cover. Hacksaw Jim Duggan is on the cover, along with some other people. I called Hacksaw Jim Duggan when the book was coming out and asked him, hey, are you cool with me including your image on the cover? It was an image that I had taken or that my people had taken. But I asked him, are you cool with me having that on the cover? Jim Duggan, because he's a sweetheart of a guy, he said, absolutely, no problem. Best of luck. He goes, who else is on the cover? I said, and I said at the time, because the cover was revised, I said at the time, oh, there's some indie guys from my promotion and Jim Neidhart. Duggan goes, take Jim off. And
why?
And I said why? And he goes, and I maybe I shouldn't be telling this story, but I don't care. Jim Duggan goes, if he gets wind of it, he's going to want to cut.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, shit, I don't even know how many I'm going to sell. So we took Jim Neidhart off the original cover. And I still have a copy of the original cover. When I was looking through my archives, I found the original cover. We took Jim Neidhart off and put a couple more local guys instead.
Well, how about this? A member of our chat, Zach McDonald, also has a copy. He has a physical copy as well. So
really?
It's a good book. Yeah.
Awesome. Every now and then, somebody will hit me up saying, I used to read your old site. And I think I told you, Sean, I had lunch with James Lynch, who's our MMA guy.
Yeah.
And the first thing James said was, are you the Jimmy Van from KnowYourNews.com? And I said, yeah, I'm the same guy. He's like, I read your stuff every day, like 15 years ago.
Isn't that cool?
Wow.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
So awesome.
Very interesting. Moving on, I want to talk about something. You know more about this than I do, but I thought it was an interesting topic. Something came up about supposed or alleged or whatever you want to call it, pro wrestling journalism. And it came up because Corey Graves was kind of mocking it a little bit. Sam Roberts, who I respect, I think seems like a good dude, and he does a podcast. He said on his show that he doesn't believe that wrestling journalism exists. Mm-hmm. And then to Sam Roberts' credit, I think it was last week, he had David Bixenspan on the show. David has done stuff for us. He does stuff for Deadspin. Sam Roberts had David Bixenspan on his show to talk about wrestling journalism. I thought the whole thing was very interesting. I was curious for your take. Obviously, you're going to say, of course, wrestling journalism exists from your point of view, but I'm curious for your thoughts on the whole thing.
Yeah, I thought that David did great on the show. I thought Sam was great on the show, and one of the things I took exception with was how he brought up, like, how if he would appear on Talking Smack, somebody would say something snarky. And I messaged him, and I was like, hey, man, with all due respect, it has nothing to do with you or Rosenberg. It's the fact that you weren't Daniel Bryan. That was his show. That's why it got over. That's what people wanted to see. Mm-hmm. Anybody but Daniel Bryan and Renee Young were going to get that kind of reaction. As far as wrestling journalism, I mean, I don't agree with what he said that it's not legitimate, so you can't report. Like, I guess I don't understand that. There are entertainment journalists. There are all types of things like that. I chose to get into wrestling journalism. I could cover sports if I wanted. I have covered politics. The Kim Davis deal, where she was the county clerk or whatever it was that was rejecting marriage licenses to gays. That was 30 minutes from my house. I covered that every day for like a month. It was my option to pick wrestling because I wanted to. I loved to do it, and I wanted to do it in a way that encapsulated everything. I wanted to do photos. I wanted to do videos. I wanted to do podcasting, long forms, aggregation, short stories, columns. I thought there was a lot of room for that, and that's what I did, and I treat it like it is a job, like it is, because it is my job, and as journalism. So I think that his original comments, even in the scope of his podcast, when converted into a bunch of 240 character tweets from everybody around the world, I didn't think his original comments were that bad. Corey Graves's were a little bit different, and it's gotten to the point where he and Coach will make little references every week on Raw to the point where Coach will be like, "Oh, don't call me a journalist," and then 2 sentences later he'll say something like, "Well, who would have known that Stephanie McMahon had 2 contracts?" And I'm like, well, Fightful.com did, because we've done multiple stories about it.
Everybody knows, man.
Everybody knows.
And it goes again against what we talked about, how they disrespect the knowledge of their audience, because everybody knows. Yep. Everybody knows she's an executive, even though she has a bullshit position and she doesn't actually do anything. Everybody knows that she is an executive and she's an on-air talent. Everybody knows that Triple H is an executive. Everybody knows. This is not rocket science. My opinion on the wrestling journalism thing is that there are different levels, much like other genres. I feel like if you look at MMA, you've got Ariel Helwani, and then you've got others that on a lower level. Pro wrestling, I look at the same way. And quite honestly, if you want my honest opinion, I think that aggregators and guys that lift news from somewhere else, rewrite the story, don't credit the source, those guys hurt the business, because a lot of guys look at that as an example of wrestling journalism when it's not. Because there are still guys like you, like Dave Meltzer, who I have a lot of respect for, who do the job properly. Ryan Satin's another one. They do the job properly. They cite the source. Those are wrestling journalists. But you got so many aggregators. They don't know anybody in the wrestling business. They've never talked to anybody in the wrestling business. They subscribe to the Observer. They take a story, they rewrite it, and they post it as their exclusive. Those guys hurt the business. Well,
I think the ones that hurt the business are the ones who take things that Dave Meltzer says as an opinion and report that as fact. That's right. A big problem. And sure, Meltzer has his own issues with separating his opinion from news reporting, and I try to differentiate that in my Fightful Wrestling Weekly. But like if you go to Yahoo right now, you're going to see aggregated news all over the place, over the place. Because as I mentioned to you, Jimmy, the thing is, in order to make a free site function, you almost have to be able to deliver everything. Because if you don't, the reader will often go somewhere where they do have everything. Because a lot of people, they don't care where news comes from. They don't care if it's verified. That's why I'll have our guys do those fight size updates. That way we don't miss anything throughout the day.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to dedicate a story to a Finn Balor video of him talking about something, but I'll put it in our fight size update at the beginning and end of the day. That way my readers don't waste time and be like, why did they dedicate a headline to this when it's not worth it? It's not worth it. So like you said, there are different levels of it. There's some really good stuff. There's a lot of co-opted stuff. And, I had that – it keeps getting, like, retweeted and posted, and I retweeted it today, that thing where oftentimes people who work for WWE think that we want to work for WWE. And I know I poked fun at it with the video last week, but I can't think of – I don't want to do that, and I don't know a lot of people I work with that want to either, and that's no disrespect for those who do. But
wait a second. Are you saying that video wasn't real?
I'm working on a sequel too.
I bet. I had an idea for one too. It might be what you're already working on, but we'll talk about it.
Probably.
Let me ask you this question. So we are a crossover website, and it's been an interesting time over the last few years. You got guys like Tom Lawler, who are MMA fighters now doing pro wrestling. Josh Barnett, MMA fighter doing pro wrestling. Bobby Lashley does both. Brock Lesnar does both. Fabricio Verdum.
Yeah.
What do you think of this one? So he's a former UFC heavyweight champion, and he told MMA Fighting Today, March 7th, that he supposedly has a meeting with WWE tomorrow in San Diego, and he wants to do both, pro wrestling and MMA. What do you think, man?
Well, that's interesting considering they were just in San Diego a week and a half ago, so they're not going to be tomorrow. But I didn't get a chance to reach out to WWE for this. I was on a conference call at that time, so I'm going to, and I'm going to see what I can find out. As I was telling you off the air, he's 40, and he's 6'4", 238. And in pro wrestling, it's pretty big. But if you put him next to John Cena, it's not that big. You put him next to the average top wrestler. He'll look a little big, but
yeah,
a heavyweight in the UFC is just 206 pounds and up. That's it.
But imagine the promo work on that guy, man. That's a scary proposition to think about the promo work.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe you can get Cena to throw a fucking boomerang at him.
You thought I was going the other way, didn't you? You thought I was going to say, his promo was going to be great, didn't you?
He got Colby Covington to throw a boomerang at him. Right?
Yeah, but so, what he said to get that response, you can't say on WWE television.
No. He threw a boomerang at Colby Covington. I got to get that straight. So maybe he comes out and he heaves a boomerang at Cena.
Yeah.
Got to run that gimmick.
We'll see what happens.
I would be surprised to see him involved in WWE outside of maybe Spanish or Portuguese language commentating.
Yeah, the only thing I could think of is maybe part of an angle where he's like helping train Brock or something. I don't know. Or helping train Ronda or helping train Stephanie or... That's the only thing I can possibly think of.
I want to see Stephanie McMahon training MMA segments.
She's absolutely going to do it. She's absolutely going to do it.
They have to, and if I were them, I would do a callback. I would call it all the way back, and Stephanie like begrudgingly go to Shane and be like, "Listen, you got my dad ready for the Royal Rumble, and he won it." And she's like, "Listen, can you put me in with Phil Nurse, your Muay Thai coach?" And Shane's like, "No, I got one better for you." And she's out chasing chickens. Just like her dad.
Do you remember when, I feel like we've talked about this before, when Vince was going to face Stone Cold, and they showed him backstage with Gerald Briscoe showing him how to block the stunner? Yeah. That was gold. And if the thing is, I guess what it comes down to is, would Stephanie be willing to be the butt of the joke the way that Vince was? Would she be willing? Because she seems like she's a little bit different. And something else I'll mention, and we'll get to it when we talk about Ronda Rousey in a minute, but a few people hit me up on social media saying, you must have loved it when Ronda gave the Samoan drop to Stephanie. My answer is I hated it, because that means Stephanie now is going to get her shine either at or prior to WrestleMania. I would have rather that they waited and had Ronda chase her but not catch her until WrestleMania and then beat her down then. Seeing her already get an offense now disappointed me, because, again, it told me that Stephanie's going to get her shine back maybe as soon as next Monday. So
yeah, I was surprised that they had Rousey touch her at all.
That's what I'm saying. I
didn't think they would do that. I thought that was the payoff. I really did.
Yep, me too. I was very surprised they did that. And one forearm to the back, and Ronda dropped, even though she got right back up. I just thought, that's Stephanie throwing that forearm. That's not Nia Jax.
I know. I was very bummed about that. No. Very bummed.
I'm going to address the Coachman thing very briefly, just because it is news and WWE released a statement, and so I feel like that we should. But you know my opinion on the Me Too movements. You know my opinion on people being accused of guilt before an investigation is even done. I even posted a story on Twitter this week about how a woman accused a cop of sexual assault. They got the dash cam footage, proved that she was lying, and it was a complete fallacy. That's what happens, and that's why when I hear about these accusations, I don't like to talk about it until the investigation is done, because there are guys that are being wrongfully accused. But WWE released a statement, so I felt like we should talk about it. So Coachman is one of many names of former or current ESPN employees that are in a sexual harassment lawsuit that's been filed against ESPN by an ex-employee. Coachman is denying any wrongdoing, and he posted it on social media on Twitter. He said that the allegations are, quote, lies and flat-out fabrications. WWE released a statement saying, we take these matters very seriously and are investigating. Now, if an investigation is done and proves he did something wrong, he deserves the repercussions, right? Whether it means fired by WWE, whatever. But until an investigation is done, this isn't even news to me. And that's my take on it. But again, because WWE released a statement, I figured we should at least touch upon it.
Yeah, and it's tough to say, because you never know what's legit and who's just like, you got to wonder at some point, like, what can you say, what can't you say, and even over the past couple of years, just the line of what may be considered okay or what some people, they're just there's a lot of fogginess.
You know what Sean told me, Nigel? You know what Sean told me?
What?
He told me that if these allegations were coming up like 10 years ago, he would have long been in prison. So Sean told me.
Not say that.
That's what he said. That's what he said.
Well, first off.
And rightfully so is what he said. And rightfully so.
First off, that's not a criminal fucking charge, Jimmy, that Coachman is facing.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you told me that if allegations came up 10 years ago like they do now, you'd be in prison.
Maybe not this shit. Because I did not say that in any way.
And rightfully so, quote unquote. And rightfully so.
Prison.
So, federal Federal, Nigel. Federal. So last week on the show, we were talking about...
that Canada thing.
What's that?
When the fuck am I moving to Canada then? I mean, I got to get the hell out of here, right?
Oh, they'll catch you at the border, Sean. You'll go home quick. Last week we were talking about Brock Lesnar and about how WWE was rehashing the part-timer who doesn't care story again with Roman Reigns. The same thing they did when they wrestled at WrestleMania the first time 3 years ago. They're rehashing it and bringing it back again. I mentioned how I was a little bit disappointed that the fans on Raw last week actually were with Roman at the end of the segment, because I thought we've seen this now 3 or 4 times. I can't believe they're buying this shit. It looks like WWE is all in with this whole idea of Brock's a part-timer who doesn't care, to the point that at a live event in Chicago last weekend, he wrestled Kane and he went over in 35 seconds. Footage of the match is on YouTube, and as soon as he pinned Kane, he immediately rolled out of the ring, and him and Paul Heyman went to the back, and the crowd booed, and a lot of people were looking at refunds. Here's my question for you, Sean. We saw Raw this week. Roman got booed again when he came out to address Paul Heyman. I told you that my opinion is that a lot of those fans now aren't booing him because they necessarily hate him or think he's the chosen one. They boo him because they think that's what you do when Roman Reigns comes out. And I think I honestly think that's what a lot of the fans think. But here's my question. Do you think that WWE is risking not shifting the fans in Roman's favor as they're hoping? Do you think that they are risking pissing off their fan base by making decisions like having Brock win in 35 seconds on a house show? Because my opinion, if you're a fan in attendance in Chicago, what are the odds that you're going to buy a ticket to the next live event in Chicago?
Yeah, that's also true. Well, I mean, that's what you have to, when you always have to question Brock Lesnar's motivation for anything. Like,
he did as he was told, man.
Of course, sure. But I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, at this point, what are you expecting out of Brock Lesnar when you go to an event? Like, I don't think that if I would have bought a ticket, I would have expected some 10-minute match or even a 4 or 5 minute match.
Oh, you get a 4 or 5 minute match, I think.
I mean, I wouldn't expect it.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't, like, assume that it was going to happen. I would think maybe this could happen, but I wouldn't assume it. I wouldn't also expect a 35-second match, but given that it's Brock Lesnar,
yeah,
you don't know. They've tried to make his run be that of unpredictability, for better or for worse. And that I can appreciate. It's just a matter of his motivation as it relates to that unpredictability and if it pays off for WWE.
I think right now their mentality is twofold. I think, number one, they're trying to get the crowd with Roman Reigns. Number two, I think they're trying to take the heat off of Brock because they know he's leaving. Because I think that he is probably going to leave after his contract's up and try to take another run at a UFC fight. So I think WWE's thinking, we might as well shit on him while we can and try to get the people with Roman. But again, I think the problem is that they're gonna piss off their fan base, because when you advertise Brock for a Raw in Anaheim and then you decide I don't want him to show up, that wasn't Brock's decision. That was Vince McMahon's decision, telling him to stay home. Then you advertise him for a live event in Chicago and you tell him, you know what, we want to get the fans with Roman Reigns, so you're going to win in 35 seconds. They're pissing off their fan base as opposed to getting the fans shifting into Roman's favor, in my opinion. That's what I think is happening.
I would agree. Hey, I just got an interesting message from one of our he still works for us a little bit. Darren Doyle did some boxing for us, and I have a great idea. He says, hey, man, so Evander Holyfield's promotional company is holding a tournament in Louisville in April. I talked to Carlos about covering it. They have a place to apply for press credentials. Would you be okay with me attempting that? Not only, Darren, am I okay with you attempting that, I want you to deliver his Affy Award.
I'm not giving this up. I'm keeping this thing. I'm not giving this up. There's no chance.
Hell?
Because this is a good story every time, Sean. Right? I'm not giving this up.
You don't think Evander Holyfield wants his butt plug back?
I think, you know what? It would not surprise me if Evander doesn't even remember it. Honestly, wouldn't surprise me.
We should send a photo with Darren Doyle to that event.
You should show Evander a photo from that video clip of him looking at it puzzled when they gave it to him.
That was the greatest.
That's
on
what,
our Instagram.
Yeah, that's what you should show him, because that was pretty awesome. I want to say one more thing about this whole Brock thing. I loved Paul Heyman's promo this week on Raw. I felt that he was becoming stale. He was saying the same thing over and over again. They clearly put him on at the 11 p.m. hour for a reason. because they know their ratings are lower at the 11 p.m. hour. He used some coarse language. He laced his promo with some coarse language. He laced it with some shoot references, like he mentioned Alpha and Sika in reference to Roman Reigns. And he alluded to Brock Lesnar going for the UFC Heavyweight Championship again. Thought it was a very interesting promo, the way that he worded it. Really, really enjoyed it. And so now they're finally going to do Brock and Roman face-to-face on Raw next week. Do you think the fans are going to boo Brock Lesnar when he goes out to go face-to-face with Roman Reigns on Raw next week?
Where's it at? Do you know?
No, I could look it up. I don't know.
I'll look it up very quickly. They're going to boo Roman Reigns no matter what. Like, people are smart. Like, that's the thing. They think that they're...
But again, with all due respect to live event fans, because a lot of them are smart, some of them are Pavlov's dogs.
That's cool. I mean, yeah, sure.
And they hear the music, they boo. That's what they do.
Yeah, that does happen.
Yeah.
It does happen. But I don't think he'll get booed. I mean, I think both will get in different reactions.
I guess we'll see what happens. Moving on, so they made it official for WrestleMania. Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey against Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. I got to say, we talked about how I wasn't crazy about Stephanie dropping Ronda with one shot. I wasn't crazy about Ronda already getting in offense on Stephanie because I think they should save it for Mania. But I loved the interaction with Kurt and Hunter. I loved it. And those guys can still go, and those guys, they're motivated to put in a good performance at WrestleMania because they're both, hitting 50. I think Kurt might already be 50, isn't he?
I think he's like 48, but I'll look.
Okay. Yeah, and I think Hunter's 48 or 49. So I think they're motivated, and I think...
49.
Okay. I think they're motivated, and I think that's going to be a hell of a matchup, so I'm looking forward to that one. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, I can't wait. I love Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle looked so ready, didn't he?
He was great.
He has stepped up his game over the past several weeks because he knows. Like, just 6 months ago, he was not a wrestling guy for them. Like, they didn't think about it, and he did everything that he was supposed to do. And
was that your phone that just vibrated there, Sean?
Yeah, it was. It was the response from the deliverer of the Affy Award.
There you go. I still think back to, was it Survivor Series when Kurt came out with the Shield? And there was Dean Ambrose looking all serious and Seth Rollins looking all serious, and there's Kurt Angle with a shit-eating grin because he was stoked to be out there. So, I think he'll be ready to go. One thing I want to ask you about. So Dave Meltzer reported that they're keeping Braun Strowman as a buffer right now and not tagging him with a WrestleMania match just yet in case something happens with Roman Reigns, with this whole Richard Rodriguez thing. So apparently they're keeping Braun as a buffer in case something were to happen between now and WrestleMania. Here's my question, because you have said this 2 or 3 different times. Do you think Braun Strowman is going to end up in the Battle Royal and eliminating everybody, just like you've been predicting?
I liked an idea that I can't remember if it was Alex or Jeff had this week as well. If the Bar needs somebody to face, it'd be Braun Strowman. And but you have to have a tag team partner to compete for the tag team titles. And he forces Elias, who he has beaten the shit out of every single week, to be that guy, and Elias is just like, God damn it, I guess. That would be very, very entertaining as well. There are no shortage of entertaining things they can do with a Braun Strowman. So, I just want to say, first off, I don't cover the John Bravo horseshit anymore. Maybe he's got something, but the man has cried wolf one too many times, and I don't know how many more Instagram stories he expects people to report on saying that he's got it. And the news was supposed to come out like a month or 2 ago. Right. So when you got something, Playboy, hit me up.
I think WWE is just taking precaution. I think just being sure. And they could always put Braun in a match and then still pull him out. It'd be easy to do that, right? So I guess we'll see what happens with that. Speaking of Elias, how interesting was it that the guy that we have talked about in the past looks like Randy Macho Man Savage, has a segment with Braun Strowman on Raw, gets Braun down, and again with a guitar or something, gets Braun down, goes to the top rope, drops an elbow from the top rope. He knew what he was doing. That was so on purpose. Yeah,
he's done that before.
Okay, well, it's the first time that I had noticed it, that he did a top rope elbow. The only thing I
did it in NXT a lot.
Okay. Well, the only thing that I noticed was, with all due respect to Elias, that was not exactly Randy Savage dropping that elbow.
Yeah, but who is? There's maybe a couple. Kairi Sane throws a good one. Shawn Michaels throws a good one. And then there's Randy Savage.
Savage's was the best of them all.
Yeah.
It was the best of them all. But one side note about Elias was, how great was he, man, on Raw? How great was he?
He's great every week. He's
playing
one of those
the piano,
guys,
playing the drums, playing the guitar.
That's how he started, was on piano.
He is talented, man. That guy is talented. And again, I really hope that they don't job him out in an effort to get Braun over when Braun is already over. Yeah. And doesn't need to destroy Elias in order to get to the next level. Elias needs the rub, not Braun. So,
yeah, I agree. Yeah. Also talented is a guy I spoke to this week, Punishment Martinez. He is in a big match this Friday at Ring of Honor's 16th anniversary against Bullet Club's Marty Scurll. I talked to him. Take a listen. I have a live podcast after the show this Friday. You've had some big steps over the past year or so since joining Ring of Honor. Now, you're far from new to the wrestling game. But has being with Ring of Honor, has that help raise your profile? Have you noticed that in any certain way?
Oh, absolutely. In every way, shape, or form. I mean, I've become a better performer as well. You know, people that don't know me and don't know my background, you know, to them, I'm a new pro wrestler. You know, I just started, but which is not the case. But in the short time that I've been in Ring of Honor, I feel like I've improved and learned so much because it's a different style, you know, being on television and, you know, a different fan base. And you're working with basically the best wrestlers in the world, because between here, New Japan, CMLL, the UK, you know, and all the partnerships that Ring of Honor has, we have so much talent that we work with that, I mean, you have no choice but to get better or else get out. So it's really, really changed my whole style, basically, and the way I work and the way you perceive me and see me. And so I definitely see a big change in not only that, but of course my name value. You know, I like to think that I'm somebody who's a name in professional wrestling that people know, or at least have heard of, which is kind of cool.
Now, I know you weren't on the latest Honor Rising shows, but you've been a part of a few joint New Japan Ring of Honor shows. Do you ever change your style up for that, or does that change anything at all?
I think I adapt to each individual style. So depending who I'm working with, you know, who I'm in the ring with, I have to adapt to, you know, different styles. And that's why I'm very proud as a big man in pro wrestling that I'm able to do a little bit of everything. I'm not just a brawler. You know, I can mat wrestle. I can submission wrestle. I can fly if I have to. So I like that I'm able to do a little bit of everything, and I purposely worked on those things to be able to perform on a level with all these great stars from all over. So I don't necessarily change my style. I adapt to their style, put it that way.
All right, we're back.
Ring of Honor's 16th anniversary on Friday. I have a live post show right afterwards. We have live coverage and discussion. Come and hang out with us. It's going to be a very, very fun show. And then, of course, Sunday, WWE Fastlane. Lots of cool stuff this weekend. No UFC. It's very bare this month with UFC, Jimmy. They have one show the rest of the month until the WrestleMania weekend show. And it's like essentially an afternoon show because it's in London, so not a lot of MMA this month. No Bellator either.
Well, that's good, since I'll be at the in-laws this weekend, so I won't have an opportunity to watch any MMA anyway.
What about wrestling? How are you going to catch up on that?
Basically, Friday till Monday, I shall be unplugged, Sean.
Damn.
Yeah, no choice.
What did I do to deserve this?
Oh, you'll hear from me if something happens. I want to ask you this question. So this came up, and I'm probably the only person that finds this of interest for certain reasons. So it came out this week that Ronda Rousey is going to be on every episode of Raw through WrestleMania, which makes sense. Something that came out that I think is going to be interesting, on March 13th, Ronda is going to be appearing on the Ellen DeGeneres show. The reason that I find that interesting is that if I think of two massive mainstream female talk show hosts that probably hate pro wrestling with a passion, one of them is probably Ellen DeGeneres and the other one is probably Oprah Winfrey. And so I'm very curious how Ellen is going to treat Ronda's career decision here and how she's going to handle it, and if she's going to poke fun or if she's going to be respectful. And I'm kind of curious how much leeway Ronda gets in talking about pro wrestling and promoting WrestleMania, because I guarantee you this is the first time anybody involved with pro wrestling, at least to my knowledge, has been a guest on the Ellen DeGeneres show. So I'm looking forward to that one. I think that's going to be interesting. She's got a massive audience too.
To be honest with you, I had no idea that Ellen or Oprah had anything against pro wrestling.
I'm not saying they do. I'm saying they don't exactly come off as fans, Sean. Either one of them. I know that in the past, Oprah referred to boxing as barbaric.
Yeah.
And if boxing's barbaric, and you know how a lot of people look at pro wrestling, I don't think she'll be at the front row in MSG. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I know John Cena's been on Ellen. I know John Cena's been on Ellen before because I got the press releases.
Oh, has he really? John Cena's been on Ellen, really?
Yeah, a couple years ago, just right before we launched.
Oh,
he was
really?
on there. I would say it was around Mania season, I think. I think it was to promote Mania.
Real? Well, then I stand corrected if that's the case. I had no idea.
I'm pretty sure, or no, maybe it was American Grit, but I remember it was in 2016. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I stand corrected then. I figured there'd be no chance that anybody related to pro wrestling would be on those shows. Okay, let's talk about SmackDown. So
do we have to?
Well, so there was one positive and one negative, in my opinion, about this show.
Just one.
One. Well, okay. There was one new negative. Negative. The existing previous negatives were still there. There was one new negative and one positive about this week's show. And you called out the negative on social media. The negative was, so in 5 days after SmackDown, they're having their Fastlane pay-per-view. In 5 days. The main event of that Fastlane pay-per-view is a 6-pack challenge with 6 different wrestlers. So they decided 5 days before that, let's pull John Cena out because he's got other shit to do. Let's take the other 5 guys and let's do a fatal 5-way match on free television on Tuesday night. Essentially the same match, same talent, same everything. 5 days before we do.
Yeah. John Cena's got important shit to do, like facing Goldust the night before.
I actually really like that. I like that.
Thought that was weird.
Okay, they did it because of the Oscar tie-in, obviously.
No shit.
But the reason I liked it is because they've both been there forever.
Yeah.
I didn't remember. My wife was watching with me. My wife goes, have they ever wrestled before? And I looked at her and I said, I honestly have no idea.
No,
and
never singles.
The commentary said that. They said that.
Well, the commentary says a lot of
well,
things.
Well, fine. Fair.
But
I actually enjoyed that because just knowing the backstage, knowing that Goldust is a veteran, he's well-respected, he's been there for years and years, Cena's been there for years and years. It wouldn't surprise me if Cena told Vince, I wouldn't mind having a shot with him, you know?
I liked it for Goldust. I didn't like the match or like the promos. I thought both of those sucked really, really badly.
Oh, I'm not talking about the performance. I just mean the concept of the match.
Well, the concept, sure, whatever. I like that for Goldust. I don't like it for me
as a fan.
Watching. Yeah. So, like, this thing, I mentioned this on the Smackdown show last night. When Khabib Nurmagomedov and Tony Ferguson fight on pay-per-view, WrestleMania weekend, I'm going to be excited for it because it's never happened before. Mm-hmm. They've tried to make it happen several times, but it's never happened. When Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz eventually fight again, I'll be excited for that because I know the fight's going to kick ass because I've seen 2 kick-ass fights before. However, every single WWE pay-per-view match has had several iterations of it happen over and over and over and over again. Sometimes not great.
Yeah.
So, like, what's to motivate me to watch this? Now, I knew the match last night was going to be awesome, and I know the one this Sunday is going to be awesome because WWE matches of that style are just always usually pretty good. They're always good. I can't remember the last bad one on the men's side, but
why would you book the exact same match?
I don't know.
With Cena because he probably wasn't at the building.
I wouldn't.
Why? It just doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that?
I just wouldn't. I just would.
At least on the positive side, if you're trying to find a positive out of SmackDown, who do we always say are 2 of our favorites on the SmackDown brand?
2 of our favorites? Like
favorite performers. Favorite performers.
Okay, do you mean sarcastically?
No, legitimately.
Probably my 2 favorite performers in there, AJ Styles and God. You put me on the spot here.
Okay, let me just jump in because you're killing it. Let me just jump in here.
Yeah, I am.
So 2 of my favorites, and I've put them both over many times on this podcast, Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev.
Of course.
And I put them both over, and I love them both, and I love that Rusev is getting a chance to be the real guy because I think the real guy's awesome. They're going to have a match at Fastlane. And even though Nakamura's clearly going to win, because he's the guy going to WrestleMania. I love the fact that two guys that I really enjoy and find entertaining are going to have a match. And I also love the fact that the match is based on the fact that Shinsuke supposedly injured Aiden English's throat so that he can't sing the Rusev Day song. I thought that was pretty good.
That was good.
So
I wish they wouldn't force the Rusev Day being a heel fact, because if you got a couple guys over that people want to cheer for, let people go with it. I am not excited for Jinder Mahal and Randy Orton and Bobby Roode to do this thing they're doing.
Oh, you mean about the top 10 list that was one and done because it's stupid and everybody thought so?
That has confused us so much on the SmackDown show, because we were under the impression
it was supposed to be every week.
Yeah. I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't know if that's like a great thing or not.
So I remember when Daniel Bryan made the announcement, hey, we're going to be doing a top 10 list. I've only seen that announcement once, and I haven't gone back and watched it. Did he say it was going to be every week? Remember?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm going to go back and look, though.
Okay. Because I couldn't remember if he said it was going to be every week. They've literally done it one time, probably realized this is stupid, and somebody should just like tell Road Dogg, go sit in the closet somewhere. It was dumb, and they probably figured it was dumb, and yet they're keeping it alive because it's the catalyst for the storyline. The whole thing's terrible. Yeah. Terrible.
It's stupid. It was always a stupid idea.
It was a stupid idea. It was. Now, speaking of an idea that you thought was stupid, the Mixed Match Challenge.
I thought that was a good idea from the jump.
Yeah, we all know that you hate the concept. We know you shit all over it. We know you said it's a dumbass idea. You even called it Mixed Match Madness, which is pretty awesome. So, I really enjoyed this week's match. I really enjoyed it. It was Braun Strowman and Alexa Bliss against Jimmy Uso and Naomi. I enjoyed it because, number one, it made Braun look strong again. He did a running power slam.
Yeah, when he fell to the ground when Alexa...
Well, if you would...
made him look real strong, yeah?
If you would let me... hey...
With that Fez press?
If you were single and a pretty little blonde was going to run at you, you would bump too, Sean. That's all you got to say, man. You would bump too.
My wife watches this show sometimes, so no, it would.
Do you think Braun bumped because the force of the blow knocked him down, Sean?
I think the force of Buddy Murphy whipping that ass is about to happen.
I was going to say the only thing I didn't like about the match was that they continued to tease the romance between Braun and Alexa, and that is, if they're thinking they're going to go in that direction with Braun's character, it's a completely terrible decision. That is not where Braun's character should be going. Braun's character needs to remain the Stone Cold, type character. But that being said, though, I loved how he threw Jimmy around like nothing. I loved how he did the running power slam through the table. And at the very beginning of the match, when they were all standing in the ring looking at each other, right? There you got Braun Strowman, and there you got Jimmy Uso wearing a tank top and overalls, where the hell he was wearing, and Foot Locker shoes. Did he not look like a fan looking for an autograph? Standing in the ring looking at Braun Strowman? I love that whole, you're not in my league, you shouldn't be in my league, and I'm going to beat the shit out of you because you shouldn't be in my league. I just liked it, man. Because I'm not a crazy big fan of the Usos. So
I love the Usos.
I know you do. That's nice.
What's with you today, Jimmy?
Do you love...
Some of your insider trading go wrong?
Is that all you got, man? Is that all you got?
That's a pretty good one.
It's
a pretty good one.
You got to find some new stuff.
Jimmy, you hit me with the sensitivity for like 3 months straight.
Well, because it was valid and just.
No. Maybe your insider trading is valid and just.
Oh, you need something new.
Let me ask you this. In an alternate reality, you'd both be in prison.
Let me ask you this question. Yeah, maybe. This question,
your boy, live from Cell Block C.
This question is not just for Sean, it's for Nigel too. You've seen the footage of North Korea, where they've got dictatorship statues of all the past and present dictators, and they've got murals and all that, right? We've seen footage from Iraq when they were taking down Saddam Hussein, and they had statues of Saddam, and they had big murals all over the place, right? I'm curious, in your part of the U.S., Sean, do they have statues and murals and stuff similar to that, but of Hillbilly Jim?
Yeah, in the form of an LJN figure.
So if you go through, because I know MUDLICK, Kentucky, you said there's one close to you. So if you go through, I forget where you're from, somewhere in Kentucky, Evansville, or whatever the hell it's called, Ewing, Kentucky. If you go through Ewing, Kentucky, you don't pass a Hillbilly Jim statue on the way to your house?
Well, it depends, because my neighbor might as well be Hillbilly Jim. Looks just like him.
Okay.
And then the person who lives next to them might as well be Hillbilly Jim. Looks just like him.
What I'm wondering is, after the announcement this week that Hillbilly Jim is going in the Hall of Fame, was that massive news in your part of the country? And, like, are they going to put up a sign, you are now entering the home state of WWE Hall of Famer Hillbilly Jim? Are they going to put that sign in your area when you're driving to go to your house?
You're proud of yourself, aren't you? You did good. You did good.
So to our listeners, I got to explain to our listeners, Sean has told me over the last year and a half, like 1,000 times, that there is a real MUDLICK close to where he lives.
I told you nowhere near 1,000
Oh, yeah,
times.
you have, 1,000 times. And... No, 1,000 times. And when word broke this week that Hillbilly Jim's going in the Hall of Fame, he made a point again. We have a little Skype group with some of the people that work on Fightful. He made a point again of mentioning, by the way, there's a real MUDLICK. It's like, you know, close to where I live kind of thing. So I think, you see, Nigel, what I'm talking about? See what I'm talking about? I think that you were elated that your idol is going in the Hall of Fame,
Jimmy, listen, here's the important thing. There's a MUDLICK near me, if you didn't know.
Really? No shit. It's interesting.
Did Manuela know?
Manuela?
Manuela.
Okay, there's a joke in here somewhere, Nigel. I feel
there
like I'm
is
being
a joke
baited.
in here
I'm being
somewhere.
baited, Nigel. I'm being baited.
Yeah, well, one day maybe you'll figure it out.
Maybe. So,
What else you got? What else you got?
I'm just curious. Like, are you elated he's going in the Hall of Fame, and what do you think about him going in the Hall of Fame?
I talked about it in the last 2 days.
Why are you yelling?
Do you watch your shows, Jimmy?
You want the honest truth?
Oh man, ringing endorsement for the Fightful podcast. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean,
I don't always have time, man. I don't always have time.
He's a fine addition. Like,
you think so?
In ring, no.
Yeah.
But his Coliseum home video work, he did work as a broadcaster. He hosted their Access tour. He managed the Godwins to a tag titles. You could make the case, if you're like putting together some sort of list of criteria that he did, like from a contributor aspect. Yeah, why not?
Do you think they'll mention the Coliseum video work?
They should.
Yeah.
They should, because that was a very important part of their business. That's how I really got to watch a lot of WWE stuff back in the day, was Coliseum home video.
And Legends House, they talked about it, I think.
That's true.
So maybe they will. I mean, I look at it the same way as I did before. If Coco Beware and Drew Carey can be in, then Hillbilly Jim can be in too.
Yeah,
that's how
why
I look
not?
at it. Yeah, that's how I look
Why
at
not?
it. That's good. I really do hope that they acknowledge his behind-the-scenes work too. I want to move on and show something. So first, Nigel, put up that tweet from Andrew Rich.
Sure.
So this was on Twitter again. Our video viewers can see this. Our audio listeners cannot. Andrew Rich posted on Twitter, this clip from Smackdown lasts 34 seconds. I counted 32 camera cuts. I hate you, Kevin Dunn. That's quote unquote. And here is the clip. It's an animated GIF. Here's the clip for our video viewers, and we've added appropriate audio for effect. So, what do you think, Sean?
Nauseating. Like,
now, let me ask Nigel. So, Nigel is not a pro wrestling fan, but you are a big arts guy. As just a lover of the arts and film and stuff like that, when you see a clip like that, what do you think about pro wrestling when you see a clip like that?
I don't know what it makes me think about pro wrestling, but it makes me feel motion sick watching the camera
Motion
work.
sickness. Right. Why, how, I don't even know where to go with the sentence. How do they think that's a good idea?
Shooting it like a found footage horror film?
It feels like the cameraman was having a seizure. Like
Jimmy, my wife and I caught the John Cena movie 12 Rounds on HBO a couple weeks ago. It was on.
Okay.
And it was very clear. I was like, that's where he thought this was a good idea.
That was like that too, really? I've
He
never seen
saw
it.
this. He's like, Kevin Dunn has seen this in some movie somewhere, or maybe even a WWE film where he got some production crew that thought, oh, this is a good idea. This is a good idea.
Right.
And he decided to go with this.
Right.
And I don't understand. And there's, I'd like to say, oh, well, when Triple H takes over, maybe it'll be better. I don't know. Apparently, Triple H is in control of 205 Live, and last night they ran a Drake Maverick interview that had an outtake in it where he looks at Buddy Murphy and says, Buddy, you're here for oh, never mind, I messed up. 3, 2, 1. And they left that in there. They left it on the show.
Why
and
did
he
they
did
do
the
that?
second take
What was the what?
on
Why?
205 Live. They left it in. They didn't even edit it.
No, but they must have left it in for a reason.
No.
What?
There was no reason.
They didn't do it as
No
part of some
reason.
kind of a story or something?
Nope.
What?
It was literally him calling cut on a scene and then resetting the scene.
Okay, was it done live?
No.
It wasn't done live.
It was one of those WWE.com exclusive clips that they integrate into the show. It was so weird, dude.
I have
so
no
weird.
answer because you've seen the
But
one
you know what?
from yeah.
I'll take that over. What's up? Motherfucker! All day.
You've seen the one with Sid Vicious, Psycho Sid, when he thought he didn't know they were live, and he told the interviewer, "Oh, I'm sorry," and the interviewer's like, "I think it was Jim Ross." Jim Ross is like, "We're live, pal." You know?
Yeah.
It's one thing if you're live. That was on a pre-tape that he did that.
Yep.
I don't understand, man. I don't understand. Anyway, let's go to stupid people.
This is a stupid song, it just goes on and on. You might find some meaning, but you would be wrong.
Okay, once a month I'd like to explain to any new listeners why we do this segment. It used to be called WWE's excessive usage of stupid nicknames, because they go overboard with the Big Dog and the Boss and the Kingslayer. We stopped doing it because it became redundant because they'll never stop. And so we transitioned it to a Stupid People news segment instead. And thanks to TrevorStrong.org for the usage of that song. I might change the graphic and put the Road Dog on it. Do you think I should do that, or Kevin Dunn, or both?
Man.
What do you think? I might have to. Although Vince is still the ultimate decision
I don't want to
maker.
get blocked by Road Dogg on Twitter. I really like to see what he's praying about.
I
every
see.
day.
I'm sure he's a good dude. But he's out of his element with what he's doing. So this first one was reported by ABC 13 out of Houston, Texas on March 4th. Sean, you ever heard the saying, guns don't kill people, people kill people?
Yeah.
You've heard that saying?
Yeah.
So-
it reminded me of a really good SNL sketch this weekend.
Okay, I haven't seen SNL all season.
Well,
life's
Charles Barkley did a pest control commercial.
Okay.
He said, "You don't need pesticides. The only thing that can kill a bad roach is a good roach with a gun." And he has trained tiny roaches to carry AR-15s and kill the other roaches.
Awesome. I'll have to look it up. So a man was at a party in Houston, and he decided to put on a bulletproof vest and have another man fire a shot at him. What do you think happened?
Why don't you tell me?
Shot and killed.
Oh,
Shocked.
surprise ending.
Authorities
I
are...
thought maybe it seemed too obvious.
Yeah,
I thought I was going to be the idiot.
Authorities are trying to locate the shooter, and they're waiting for forensics to determine if the bullet went through the vest or if it missed the panel, like the bulletproof panel that's in the vest.
Yeah.
They're trying to see what happened. But yeah, decided to put it on. He said another guy, go ahead, and boom, done. So keep up the good work, whoever that might be related to, because not him. Somebody, whoever's related. This next one was reported by the Baltimore Sun on March 1st. Put up the photo, Nigel.
Sure.
And again, Sean can only see this on delay. So some people speculate that this is fake news because I saw some of the social media comments. But because it was reported by the Baltimore Sun and because they got comments from the Baltimore County Police, I consider that as legit as you're going to get. And that's why I included this. So according to the Baltimore County Police, a man was driving a car and he decided to put on some body spray, some aerosol body spray.
Was it Axe?
They didn't say. It might have been, but they didn't say the brand. They probably don't want a lawsuit, so they didn't say the brand. But he sprayed on some aerosol body spray and he lit a cigarette. Here's a direct quote from the Baltimore County Police. It caused a, quote, sudden and violent expansion of the air molecules in that vehicle, which basically caused an explosion, blew the doors open, it pushed the roof in, and it shattered the windshield. And to make this a little bit more interesting, a spokeswoman for the police claimed that the driver was unharmed. Then other media in Baltimore decided to follow up on the story. Turns out he was taken to a burn unit with serious injuries.
Now, how old was he?
That I don't know. They didn't say.
Well, if he's older than 16, he probably shouldn't be using body spray.
Agreed. Well, maybe he thought if he does, he'll get the women that the guy in the commercial does.
Do they even really get the women in the commercial? Like, I don't even think Axe is ballsy enough to say, listen, if you use our body spray, you're going to get women. They're probably just like, people won't think that you smell horrible.
I mean,
That's the selling point.
in the commercial, they end up with a woman, don't they, Nigel?
Yeah, there's tons of women in Axe
Yeah,
commercials.
they end up with a woman, yeah, because the women want the Axe, Sean.
That's true.
Wasn't there like a really horrific one that had like chocolate Axe or some
Yes.
shit?
Yeah, chocolate. And I think they were like licking them or something. Yeah,
Yeah,
something like that.
that's-
Yeah, it was
yeah.
brilliant. Yeah, this last one, this is for the Sean Ross Sapp file.
Oh, I'm ready.
Reported by the BBC on February 23rd, a 24-year-old man out of the UK named Lamar Chambers. It was believed that he swallowed drugs during a police chase back on January 17th. He was arrested, and they put him in a cell, waiting for him to have a bowel movement so they could confiscate the drugs for evidence. He decided to hold it in. They offered him laxatives. He refused. And as of the date of the story, he hadn't taken a dump in 37 days.
Wow.
There were some doctors that were interviewed by the BBC for the story on February 23rd. They said that if he continues to refuse to go, or I guess after a certain point you no longer can go because you're so backed up. So they said that if he doesn't go soon, he could get seriously ill, he could die, or he might never be able to control his bowel movements ever again.
What do you think? Okay, so what were they? What kind of evidence were they looking for? Does it specify again?
Drugs. He swallowed drugs.
How much fucking drugs do you have to have on you to not take a dump for 37 days? Because let me tell you, there ain't a lot that would keep me from going for 3.
Now, I don't know how this scene hit my brain, but that's how my brain works. Have you seen that Seth Rogen movie, Make a Porno? What was it called?
Yeah,
Zack
Zack
and
and Mary
Mary,
make a
yeah.
Zack and
porno.
Mary Make a Porno. Do you
Yeah,
remember?
where Katie Morgan shits all over Jay from Jay and Silent Bob. Yeah.
I was just going to say, she had told them in the movie, the storyline was she told them in the movie, there's a certain thing that if I do, it makes me go.
Yeah.
Not going to suggest what that thing was. All I'll say is the response afterwards from a guy was, she frosted me like a fucking cake. That was
I'll
the
say,
line.
if nothing else, we have very similar taste in movies, apparently.
Yeah. Oh, I love all that stuff. Yeah. That was the line.
Hug
and
it! Shock it!
So to the police in the UK, if you can't get Lamar Chambers to go, you got options. If that movie's any indication.
Oh, my God. That was just... Like, how can they keep... I wonder what he's like, how long his sentence is without that. Like,
I don't know, but can you imagine not going for 37 days, man? Can you
hell, I
imagine?
can't imagine going for 3.
So my daughter, sometimes young children have trouble going, right? And sometimes young children, in an effort to, I don't know, try to put their foot down because they don't like that they have a young sibling, they will hold it in as a way of trying to be a pain in the butt. So our rule with my young daughter is after the second day of not going, she gets a little bit of stool softener the third day in order to help her go. And I'm bringing that up because today is actually day number 3, so she's getting some stool softener today. But 37 days, man. 37 days.
I know that we definitely...
I tied it into real life, Nigel. I tied it in.
I'll say this.
I'll
We
give it to
definitely
you.
couldn't go 37 days without talking about shitting.
Absolutely not. You couldn't either because you dig this. This is why it's part of the Sean Ross Sapp file. You know you like
We're
it.
going to be digging him pretty soon.
I don't know what you mean by that. What does that mean?
That is a nursing home term for manually digging the shit out of someone's ass.
Really?
Jimmy.
Digging is the term.
Digging. It's the
Really?
term.
How do you know that?
Well, I know a lot of people in our area. That's pretty much the field a lot of people go into is nursing homes and nurses' aides and stuff like that. It's A lot of old people around here.
So there's a lot
A lot of
of
hillbilly gyms.
there's a lot of ass digging in Ewing, Kentucky.
Well, not in Ewing, Kentucky, in Maysville, in Flemingsburg, in the surrounding. We don't have a nursing home here.
In Kentucky, there's a lot of ass digging in Kentucky.
Well, in my general area, like not maybe.
Nigel was nodding the whole time, just so you know.
Lot of ass.
So the whole time when I was saying to you, there's a lot of ass digging in Kentucky, Nigel was nodding his head over there. So.
Well, you all learn a little bit about life on this show. That's all I can say.
So let's talk about Mustafa Ali.
Yeah, let's.
So I know Alex Pulowski puts him over a lot, puts over his promo work and all that kind of stuff. I saw the promo that he did. Apparently he wrote and produced it himself. Is that true?
Yep.
The one in Chicago? He did it on a tripod?
Yep.
So I saw the promo. If anybody hasn't seen it, I believe it's on YouTube. You can check it out. Thought it was.
It was on 205 Live last night, too. They showed it on there, which is good.
Yeah, I heard, but anybody that missed that, you can probably see it on YouTube. So I thought it was really good. I thought that he's very well spoken. His timing is really good. He's got a great backstory. He used to be a cop in Chicago. He's married with 2 kids. We know he's good in the ring because 205 Live, he's good in the ring. I think that he's somebody that WWE needs to give an opportunity to, but my opinion might piss people off, don't care, my opinion, they got to get rid of the stereotypical name. My opinion. I realize that he's got a Pakistani background, and I realize that he's Muslim, and so they thought Mustafa Ali was the way to go. I think get rid of the stereotypical name, get rid of the ring gear. I don't like his ring gear that he wears. He looks like a circus performer. So get rid of the stereotypical name, get rid of the ring gear, acknowledge that he's American-born. You can acknowledge he's Muslim if you want, but acknowledge that he's American-born, acknowledge he was a cop for 4 years, which at least if they showed the promo, now we know he was a cop because he said so, right? Acknowledge his past, acknowledge he's a family man. He's a good talker, man. Give him an opportunity. I think that he's...
Well,
he's
his real name's Adil Alam, so I mean, it's not like...
It's still not Mustafa Ali. Like, are you fucking kidding me, man? Seriously.
That's true. That is also very true. I loved the match with Buddy Murphy last night. That 450, he worked over Buddy Murphy's arm, had Buddy Murphy face down,
right?
Put Murphy's arm on the bottom rope and did a 450 onto his arm, and it ruled. It looked so cool. All in on that, and Drew Gulak's been great on that show, and they've got it's honestly from a quality standpoint. All things considered, 205 Live is the best WWE show there is right now.
Now, let me ask you this question.
Even close.
Let me ask you this question. So they haven't had the 205 guys on Raw in a while. Let me ask you this question. So you know how NXT is utilized as the developmental territory, and once the guys are established there, then they get supposedly called up to the main roster. New Japan, again, I talk about the similarities with New Japan. New Japan has the junior heavyweights and they have the heavyweights. When the guy's established as a junior heavyweight, he supposedly graduates to heavyweight. Why not use 205 Live as a developmental system, much like NXT, and bring guys once they've kind of established themselves, give them a shot on the main roster?
I thought there were ways where they could establish the cruiserweight division as... the thing is, like, when I watch a UFC fight, I don't think that John Jones is any less than a heavyweight, like right. From a talent perspective. Just they're different weight divisions. That's just the nature of it.
Yep.
I would have had a thing where immediately, like a guy like Aleister Black shows up and wins the cruiserweight title, and then instead of going around defending that, he shows up and he faces the heavyweight champion. And he either hangs with them, beats them, something like that. Show that your champion on that brand is on the level of the heavyweight champion.
Right.
Some mutual respect there. Just perception is everything. And I don't hear it as much, but there are still those fucking dopes in the world who are like, he's so little, he ain't gonna believably beat nobody. Ugh. It just doesn't work like that.
Okay. I mean, look at Conor McGregor.
Stephen Struve has made a career getting his ass kicked out of people half his size.
Conor McGregor is the biggest box office draw in UFC history. 155 pounds. I mean,
yep,
I agree. It's all about personality. And again, watching that promo, kid's got potential, but the gear's stupid, the name's stupid. My opinion, too stereotypical. So,
what kind of gear would you suggest for the guy?
What kind of gear? I mean, if they want to go, because obviously they got him wearing almost like a Roman Reigns-esque kind of top. If they want to go with that, why does it have to have turquoise and shine and glitter on it and shit?
Roman Reigns gear makes more sense for him than it does for Roman Reigns, because Mustafa used to be a cop.
Yeah, but I still kind of dig the gear on Roman Reigns because it makes him look different than everybody else. So I still like it.
Well, I think it makes him look too much like the Shield version of Roman Reigns. I think they put all that on Roman Reigns because they felt like he needed all that. And at this point, I don't think he does need all that. But I don't think he needs to be going out there dressed like Jesus, the guy that used to manage Carlito with the green clown pants and the wife beater. But
I think if Roman was topless, he wouldn't look as unique. That's just my opinion.
I don't care if you wear something. I don't know.
Well, wear pants. Don't get rid of the pants.
He used to wrestle in trunks back in the day.
I think keep him in the gear he's wearing. But Mustafa Ali, I would change up for sure. So let's talk about Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks on the latest edition of Being the Elite. They announced the location for their All-In show, which I can't believe they're getting so much attention for an independent show. Good for them that they're getting this much attention. We have a clip from the announcement. This is Stephen Amell from Arrow that said this. Go ahead, Nigel.
Listen, I don't know what's wrong with these guys. Maybe I can't deliver a perfect Hurricane Rana or, do anything but jump off the top rope. But I know how to announce the city that All In is going to be in September 1. 2018, Chicago, Illinois. We're coming for you.
So Chicago was expected, I think. I think they're thinking either Chicago or California because that's where the Bucks are located. Chicago's where the Pro Wrestling Tees store is, which is a big source of their income right now. So they went with Chicago. It's going to be the Sears Center Arena, which is actually located in Hoffman Estates, which is about 25 miles outside Chicago. Building capacity is about 11,000 for wrestling. If they fill that building, they've done very well for themselves. Very well.
Yeah, I would say so too. I've had multiple people reach out to me, like just casual wrestling fans or just general wrestling fans who don't usually reach out to me about wrestling related stuff that are like, you going all in? I'm going all in.
Really?
And yeah, that surprises me. I have a buddy who their bachelor party might go to All In. And
Are you kidding me?
I swear to God.
Wow.
Nikita Krylov fan, one of his buddies, if you guys know him from the Holy Smokes MMA podcast, he did the Royal Rumble 95 alternate commentary with me, hit me up and said that one of his buddies is thinking about doing his bachelor party in Chicago and hitting up All In. And I was like, wow.
They want to do their bachelor party in Hoffman Estates,
Hoffman Estates. Well, I'd imagine more of Chicago. Go to Hoffman Estates.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, what's better than getting shot for your bachelor party, right?
Good
Nigel,
one,
trig tent guy, anything?
Good. So let's try to recap. So he's already shit all over San Antonio, so now they hate us. Now he's shit all over Chicago. Eventually, we're only going to have Kentucky people watching this damn show, Sean. Eventually.
We have several.
Then again, I shit on Kentucky and said that they got Hillbilly Jim Monument, so we're probably cutting out Kentucky too.
Yeah, goodbye.
I want to play another clip.
By now, no Kentucky, no San Antonio for sure.
No, for sure. For sure. Yeah. Now no Chicago.
No Chicago.
So here's another clip that I want to play for our video viewers. It's been getting some mainstream attention and might be considered copyright infringement that we're playing this, but because it's gotten mainstream attention through outlets like TMZ, I figure that it's good to go. This is the Sami Callihan Eddie Edwards spot from Impact last week. Nigel, go ahead and play that.
You can't match unpredictability with Sami Callihan. What's he got in mind?
He's a despicable human being, and Eddie Edwards got the no. What the? What the? Oh my God!
Oh my!
What the?
Josh, that's not right.
So Eddie Edwards suffered severe injuries to his eye. I forget all of the exact damages, Sean. You might know, but watching that spot, my first opinion, and tell me if you agree or disagree. First off, it was a stupid spot to begin with. Eddie Edwards had to hold the chair on top of himself, which looked dumb. Nigel's nodding as a non-pro wrestling fan because he knows. He's holding the chair on top of himself, which looked dumb. That was number one. The spot was dumb. Number two, I thought Sami Callihan was so careless with the way that he swung that bat. He was so reckless with the way he swung that bat. And quite frankly, if I was the promoter, I'm not using Sami Callihan at the next tapings, if I'm being honest. Because when I see something as reckless as that, I don't need that guy on my show.
Well, first off, he'll be on our show because I got him for listening to your boy in the coming weeks.
I don't care. I mean, if you want, you can tell him I said so.
It's already in the can.
Okay, good.
Who gives a shit? Already in the can.
Okay, good.
Yeah, careless spot, man.
Oh, it was so reckless.
Why
so
don't you
reckless.
just stomp the damn thing?
He could have
stomped.
Right. He could have lost his sight, man. Like that was
I've like recreationally and casually played baseball for a long time, and I've used weapons in wrestling matches and all that stuff, and you control that. Like,
right, you're right.
It's easy. Right, it's not hard.
No,
I've been cracked with like kendo sticks 1 billion times and hit people with them 1 billion times, and that hurts a little bit, but you can take a little off of it. Bats, all kinds of things shaped like that. It's not hard to do, but that spot just didn't make any sense.
No.
He swung it so damn hard it slid off the chair that was being held into the face of Eddie Edwards.
And even if, let's say the spot went down the way it was supposed to, so all he did was hit the chair, what was supposed to be the end result of that? Can you explain? How was that supposed to be?
Hell no, I can't explain.
It was just really poorly done, and I'm going to go ahead and guess that they didn't have a producer that went over to that spot with them first. They probably just kind of put it together on their own. I don't know if Impact gives the guys that kind of freedom or not. It was just a terrible spot. It was dumb. It was careless and reckless. I would not use Sami Callihan at the next taping if it was my decision. And, I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, and I mean, there are some hurdles in working with him anyway, because there have been some accusations about domestic situations with him in the past. So a lot of companies get flack for working with him to begin with. But
okay, well, there you go.
Yikes!
Put up the Chris Jericho tweet, Nigel.
Oh, sure.
So Chris Jericho was asked on Twitter this week by a fan if he's done with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Jericho responded, not just putting up the screenshot. He responded and he said, quote, "Unfortunately, yes. My answer is, don't believe anything Chris Jericho says on social media."
Never.
I actually saw the Fightful story, and I know that the Fightful story reported on it correctly, but I saw the Fightful story where it said Chris Jericho claims he's done with New Japan Pro Wrestling or whatever the subject was.
Yeah.
Never believe anything Chris Jericho says on social media. And if anything, the fact he says, unfortunately, yes, means no, I'm not done with New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Because if he wants to not be done with New Japan Wrestling, then he's not done with New Japan Wrestling.
Right. So
Jericho
never
does what he
wants. Yeah. And it's just obvious. He's doing the cruise, man. Like, come on. Like, clearly he's not. He's got all Ring of Honor.
That's with New Japan, but they're connected.
I know. Well, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so WWE announced this week that they're doing a couple of big major shows coming up. The Rumble one is, to me, more interesting than the Aussie one. So they announced, and they're calling this the Greatest Royal Rumble. It's going to take place Friday, April 27th in Saudi Arabia. It's going to be a 50-man Royal Rumble match. And they've announced such names as John Cena is going to be in it, Triple H is going to be in it. Both brands, obviously, are going to have guys in it. They haven't announced this, but I'm going to go ahead and assume that this is a sold show. And it's part of a live event deal that they signed with the Saudi General Sports Authority. The reason I think that this is a sold show, or the reason I'm pretty sure it's a sold show, is it was lucrative enough that Vince McMahon himself went there to sign the deal. And Vince McMahon's not going there, even though it's a 50-man Royal Rumble. He's not going there if it's a regular live event where they got to sell tickets and do all of that. He's going there if this is a lucrative sold show that they probably got 7 figures for. Probably.
Mm-hmm. To put on a 50-man Rumble?
Yes.
To fly that many people over in general?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a very lucrative sold show. Now, I also think that it's going to be broadcast somewhere, probably the network, because there was a joint press release that was issued by WWE along with the Saudi General Sports Authority saying broadcast information will be available in the coming weeks. So it's probably going to be a network special. But, man, imagine how lucrative that deal must be when it's going to be a 50-man Royal Rumble and Vince McMahon himself went with Triple H to sign that deal. That's a lucrative deal.
Yeah, and I'm a Royal Rumble geek, so I'm excited for a 50-man Royal Rumble. That should be a lot of fun.
Right.
I wonder how they'll make it work. I mean, they have the number of people to make it work. I would expect cruiserweights and all that stuff in there. Like, I think they'll go full on. I do hope the winner gets something. I don't care what, but you got to give them something.
Agreed. Something. Do you remember back in the day, Tiger Ali Singh won some tournament?
Kuwaiti Cup.
Right. And all they got
remember it.
All they got was a trophy, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that just a
Ahmed
trophy?
Johnson won it one year, too.
Oh, yeah. So maybe they're just going to get a trophy. They'll call it the Saudi Cup. Maybe
Well, I'll
that's
tell you
what's gonna
what.
be.
Our viewers can get more than a cup if they go to ProWrestlingCrate.com and use the code FIGHTFUL. They can get 20% off their crate of merchandise. Head over there, check it out. They got some really cool stuff over there, from like themed boxes like the Golden Age of Wrestling, and all the way to mid-card boxes, cheap heat boxes. They have something for all kinds of price ranges. So head over there, check that out. Use the code FIGHTFUL. And if you've heard of them, or if you heard of them through us, let them know on Twitter where you heard from them. The Listen You Boy, Fightful. Also, hey, do you want me to segue into this clip? We're 5 minutes past due on it.
I was kind of waiting for you to do it, so good job.
Punishment Martinez. Here he is, Ring of Honor, 16th anniversary this weekend. I'm particularly interested in how, like, maybe you got in touch with Ring of Honor. I know you did a lot of stuff at Monster Factory, and there are some ROH connections there. But how did contract negotiations, per se, go down with Ring of Honor? Because, I mean, you're a different looking guy in pro wrestling. There's not a lot of 6.5 foot tall guys. They don't grow on trees. So, I mean, obviously you've got a unique wrestling style for that size, and I'm interested in you as a commodity. How did you approach negotiations with Ring of Honor, or vice versa?
I mean, it's all timing, right place, right time. You know, I like we talked about, I've been wrestling for a long time, but I wasted a lot of that time. The first 10 years of me being in this business was a complete waste, and I tell people all the time, don't be me, don't be the guy that wasted his time and thought he could coast on his size, because that's exactly what I did, and it did not work for me, and deservedly so. I was out of shape, so it took me starting to do Ring of Honor tryout camps, getting in front of them, started training at the dojo while I was still at the Monster Factory just to get better. And like I said, I got in shape. I lost over 100 pounds, and, you know, Delirious, who's the head trainer and booker of Ring of Honor, he saw these things. And I was persistent. That was the main key too. I was so persistent. I wouldn't stop. And I did multiple tryouts where they liked me as a worker, but everything else, the full package, wasn't complete. And finally, it was actually at a tryout camp where I showed up to do another tryout camp. As soon as I walked through the door, I was pulled into the office, and they told me that they wanted to offer me a job. And this is after I did the Top Prospect tournament. They wanted to offer me a contract, and you know, and that was that. I mean, Kevin Kelly at the time was involved with the negotiations. He was the one that called and did everything contractually, you know, pertaining to the contract. He's the one that called me and explained everything and you know, ran through everything and set everything up. But basically, it was just me being persistent and just showing up, and you know, and then taking notice and realizing that I wasn't just there to show face. I really wanted this, and I was doing everything possible. Even for somebody who's been in the business a while, I was willing to, you know, humble myself into these positions where I already had done the Top Prospect tournament, but I was still showing up to tryout camps. You know, nobody does that. You know, only a handful of people have, and that's why those people are successful. And I just followed that mold and, you know, did what I had to do to finally gain an opportunity.
At what point would you say was the turning point and you were like, okay, I got to take this more serious?
You know, I was running strip clubs in Atlantic City. I was living a pretty decent life.
I was going to say, that already sounds like what turning point? Like,
yeah, right. Well, but this is what had happened. I was living, you know, in a penthouse apartment on the boardwalk, make good money, running a club. I was having a good time, but I was still wrestling on the weekends and training and whatever. So, you know, I had to miss time from the club, and the owners basically gave me an ultimatum, which was, hey, stop doing that wrestling thing, and we want you here, you know, every day. And for whatever reason, and I've been given advice and been critiqued and been told everything by everybody, but for some reason that day, those words clicked on something, and without hesitation, I said, nah, man, you have my 2 weeks notice. This is not what I want to do. And then, but by doing that, I was like, well, if I'm giving my 2 weeks notice on this job, I really have to do everything possible, or else what's the point? And like I said, I don't know why that day I felt that way, but man, I really, really put my foot to that, that pedal, and didn't look back.
And we're back.
Punishment Martinez, that full interview will be released this week ahead of Ring of Honor 16th anniversary. Remember, guys, I do have a live post show right after that Friday night, and we have live coverage. I will be in the chat talking with people. So come on and hang out with us. Jimmy, you'll be in Orlando, though.
Yeah, I have to go to visit the in-laws. I got to take 2 little kids on a 6 a.m. flight, which is going to suck. But whatever. I was telling the boys off the air, you put in the work and you get the reward. For me, the reward is 5 days to myself when I come home. So the work is I got to do a 6 a.m. flight with 2 little kids, and I know it's going to suck. But the reward is I get 5 days to myself when I come home. So that's all fine and good.
What does that entail, 5 days to yourself? Just like your wife and the kids got to go somewhere else?
No.
They got to go stay in the Crown Molding House?
I'm coming home early.
Oh,
I'm coming home early. My wife's staying with her parents for an extra 5 days. That's what's happening.
Okay.
And then her parents are coming back with her so they can help her with the kids.
I think I'm hitting up Denver in June or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's cool.
Wife wants to go.
We
got a lot of friends out there.
That's cool. You want to go there and just sing Rocky Mountain High for like 3 straight days and then go home?
Yeah, I hope.
So I heard
I am Rocky Mountain High while I'm there.
Too much information. I heard that the live chat was kind of shitting on us, claiming that we are too pro WWE and anti-Impact Wrestling. No?
One guy.
Oh, one guy. Okay.
Guy.
Okay. So I just want to say, we shit on WWE when they deserve it, and if you listen to this whole podcast, we shit on WWE today when they deserved it. Impact Wrestling hasn't deserved a whole lot of props, man, like in months, quite frankly. So it is what it is. Let's go to some listener questions. Then after that, if I have time, I'll tell my Tim Horton story that I mentioned to the guys off the air. So this first listener question, this is from Greg Sessler, and this is a good question. He said, curious to hear your thoughts on the lack of ratings boost Ronda Rousey got Monday, and what does that mean? So and in case anybody doesn't know the ratings, the aggregate was, I believe, a 3.16 million in the U.S. on USA Network. 8 p.m. hour did 3.3 million. 9 p.m. hour did 3.27 million. 10 p.m. hour did 2.73 million. Now, traditionally, WWE has seen drop-off between hour 2 and hour 3, and that's been going on pretty much from the time that they started. It used to be, back when it was a 2-hour show, that they would have their peak at 11 p.m., because that was when the main event happened. Since they added the 3rd hour, now they're seeing burnout. And so between hour 2 and 3, they're having significant drop-off. Last week when Ronda made her debut on Raw, they put her in the 11 p.m. hour, or in the 10 p.m. hour at the end of the show, because I think that they thought this is going to peak the rating. I think that they thought this is going to kill our drop-off, but it didn't. They still had drop-off. So this week they put her at the beginning of the show, which is when they see the highest level of viewership. And their ratings ended up being more or less the same with where they've been. However, this week they actually saw a massive drop-off between hour 2 and hour 3, probably because Ronda was already on the show, and they didn't really advertise anything for the 10 p.m. hour except for Paul Heyman's thing, and he's not exactly going to be a draw. The only thing I will say, though, in terms of Ronda Rousey, because they don't really give you this kind of a breakdown, in the 18 to 49 demo, and that's the demo that matters, that's the demo that the advertisers care about, Raw was not only number 1 on cable this week, they beat all the networks except for NBC and ABC. Don't know if that's because of Ronda Rousey. Don't know if her segment, showed a significant amount of viewers in that category compared to the other quarter-hour segments of the show. But they did see pretty good numbers in the 18 to 49 demo this week. But I don't think they've seen so far the kind of potentially rating spike they thought they might get with Ronda Rousey. But at the same time, it takes viewers a while to kind of get things going anyway.
And it's hard for me to speak to Nielsen ratings in 2018 because What do they mean, man? What do they mean? But I can say, and I mentioned this on the other shows, I talked to a lot of people backstage and WWE wrestlers in particular, and Ronda Rousey and Travis Browne are both rather popular there. And I've been told that they're going about things the right way, and the fact that she will be on every Raw until WrestleMania made a very positive projection among wrestlers. They liked that, and that's a good thing for her.
And apparently, I saw Daniel Cormier. He did an interview with TMZ. He was at Elimination Chamber. He said Ronda backstage was elated. He said she was so happy because she's been a fan of wrestling since she was a kid. and she was so happy that she was now participating in it. So I think the whole thing is good. I mean, I think that the full-time talent knows that she's a fan and that she's respectful to the business. This is not a paycheck for Ronda Rousey, this thing. And I think they know that, and so I haven't heard any negatives whatsoever about the whole thing. You know?
Yep, that's pretty much the same thing I'm hearing.
This next question is from Jose Flores. He says, is this shoot-style promo from Roman Reigns a temporary fix for his character? What happens when he doesn't face a part-timer? My answer is WWE doesn't think that far ahead. They think week to week on everything. No, they don't. They think.
I know. I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, they think week to week on everything, and so they knew they were going to do Roman and Brock, but I don't think they thought anything about creative until it was time to start promoting Roman and Brock, and they went to the only thing they could think of, which is the part-time thing again. So no, I don't think this is going to be something that is going to help them in the future in terms of shoot style promos. They're thinking in the moment, this is what is going to help Roman, and that's all. That's all I see.
Yeah, I think that as well. And you can only cut that promo so many times. I think it works against Brock with Roman because Roman is the company guy now. But
right.
I don't know. Maybe who do you think's the first guy to cut a promo about how Reigns had the mumps or something? Like, I don't miss time for the mumps. Part-timer.
I mean, they haven't talked about who's going to be the first one for him post-Mania, so I don't know. Guess we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
This last question is from Andy Q at AT Quig. And Hawkins actually answered this on Twitter, and I thought his answer is pretty much on par with my answer. The question is, I'm curious as to the Fightful Crew's opinions of a debate a buddy of mine and I had. I say Carmella ends Asuka's streak via cash-in. He says no way in hell. Hawkins said that either Charlotte's going to end the streak at Mania and Carmella's going to cash in on Charlotte, or Carmella's going to cash in on Asuka, I think he said. I think Charlotte's going to win at Mania because I think that they want, the Ric Flair, offspring to beat the streak. I think she's going to beat Asuka, and I think Carmella may or may not cash in on Charlotte. I think Asuka's going to stay on the Raw brand. So there's not going to be anything to do with Asuka on a cash-in. Charlotte's going to retain the title, and Carmella may not cash in on her, my opinion.
I like the idea of Charlotte ending the streak. I think she's special. I think that her promo delivery is still a little heelish because she just does have that heelish delivery.
She's a better heel, for sure.
Yeah, she is a better heel.
Yep.
And while I was surprised that they had Shinsuke Nakamura and Asuka, two Japanese wrestlers who couldn't speak great English, win the Royal Rumble, I don't think they'll have them both win at WrestleMania. And
Agreed.
I do expect – I think Nakamura will win at WrestleMania, but I don't see Asuka winning. Yeah, I think you got to keep Asuka on Raw. Although if they did move her to SmackDown, that's the last time that they got to fill out with ill-advised promos of her speaking English in front of a crowd. But
Agreed.
We'll see how it goes. There's got to be some major changes to the rosters after WrestleMania. They need it real bad.
Agreed. Charlotte back on Raw. That's what I would do.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's. When you say that, I do think that she's a better fit there, and Alexa was a better fit on SmackDown.
100%. For sure, I'd put her back on Raw. So I'm going to tell you guys a funny story. So our video viewers can see this cup right here. This is a Tim Hortons coffee cup. They're doing a promotion called Roll Up the Rim. They do it every year. You roll up the rim of the cup, and you can win a coffee or something. And years ago, when I was a younger man and didn't maybe have the financial resources I have now and didn't care so much about doing things that were stupid, so on these cups, they claim, and I don't know if you can see this on the video, they claim 1 in 6 chance to win. It says it on the cup right there. Nigel and I were talking off the air about how we never win. And the 1 in 6 chance thing is bullshit. So years ago, I took a bunch of these Please Play Again rims, which is what you get if you don't win. It says Please Play Again. I took like 35 Please Play Again rims, put them in an envelope, sent it to the CEO of Tim Hortons Canada, and included a letter that said, your contest is a scam. I've lost 35 times in a row, which is, it goes against your claim on your cup. These are lies. I'm going to the media.
You're the Kurt Hawkins of Tim Hortons.
Now, I did it obviously for fun. I was not going to go to the media, but I did it for fun. And within like a month, they sent me a book of coupons for like free everything from Tim Hortons. So I saw that and I thought I got to take advantage of this. Around that time, the Summer Olympics was going on. And McDonald's was doing a tie-in with the Olympics where they had Olympic athletes on their bags for the McDonald's products.
Yeah.
I happened to go to Tim Hortons or to McDonald's one day, and the bag had an Olympic gymnast doing the splits on it. And I got an idea. I sent that bag to the CEO of McDonald's Canada. And I said, this is pornographic and offensive, and I'm going to the media. And within a month, coupon book from McDonald's Canada for free combo, Sean. Yes. So what ended up happening after that was every year for probably 3 or 4 years in a row, I would use a fake name. I would use a fake name and I would use a fake address, and I would send the same letter to Tim Hortons. And every year I got a coupon book from Tim Hortons. As a matter of fact, one year do you remember when Chris Jericho used to use an alias for Fozzy?
Yeah, Moon Goose McQueen.
I used that name one year, Moon Goose McQueen. And I sent the letter to Tim Hortons from Moon Goose McQueen, got the book of coupons from Tim Hortons, and I did it like 4 years in a row. So
I am going to do that.
Yep.
I'm going to do it.
Yep.
And we're going to see. And if I get a coupon book,
Yeah.
not only will I reveal it here on the air.
Yeah. You're going to give it
assuming I
away.
come back to Toronto.
Yeah.
Oh, hell no. During the segment, how much I love Tim Hortons. I had 9 charges from there on my bank statement when I came back.
There you go.
Oh, man, good stuff. Guys, we got good stuff at Fightful.com. Head over there, like, subscribe, thumbs up. Visit our good friends over at DraftBus.com and LivingSharp.com. Jimmy, what else you got?
Heading to Orlando Friday morning. It's going to be one of the worst mornings of my life.
Why?
I'm getting my children up at 3 a.m.
Yeah, that's going to be bad.
It's going to suck, but Monday evening until next Saturday, I have to myself, and that is my reward. And so bring on Friday, bring on the airport. I'm ready to go because I get my 5 days off next week.
Well, I will be here Friday night covering Ring of Honor 16th anniversary. I'll be here Sunday night covering WWE Fastlane. And, of course, we have all your wrestling coverage over at Fightful.com. I have that Fightful Wrestling Weekly that drops on Fridays. Check it out. I've got about 1,000 words worth of exclusives, Fightful news, things like that may not fit into other articles. Also, check out our friends at Pro Wrestling Unlimited who do a video for that, and they also syndicate this show on their channel as well. Guys, until next time, we are out.